Yo, what's going on YouTube? This Trey TV. I'm back with another video, man. Listen, I'm here to expose and just keep it real about Gervonta Tank Davis's resume, man. I mean, yeah, he's explosive. Yeah, he's a superstar in the sport of boxing. But when you really dive deep into how he's a superstar, it ain't because of his resume. That's definitely not the case. I mean, this is my thing, you know. For one, he puts too many stipulations on the people that he's fighting, meaning weight clauses, fight clauses, all this stuff, man. That's number one. Number two, he fights guys when they're too green, you know? And I'm going to get into that a little bit later on. And number three, he fight guys that are past their prime, way past their prime. You feel me? For an example, you got Gamboa, you know. Gamboa, shout out to Gamboa, you know, he has a Hall of Fame career, resume, blase. You know, he been in there with the likes of Terrence Crawford, different guys like that. You know, Devin Haney, all that type of stuff. But if you keep it a stack, Gervonta Tank Davis fought Gamboa when Gamboa was almost 40 years old, if not 40. I mean, he had a bad leg. He barely could make weight. You see how big Gamboa looked in that fight? I mean, it's ridiculous. And you see how that fight played out, didn't it? It went all the way to the 11th or 12th round. I'm not sure at this particular time. But, bro, you can't justify a win like that, man. Gamboa took your best shots the whole fight. He was slowing down. He didn't have fresh legs like Gervonta did. He was 40 years old. Gervonta Davis should have got arrested that night for fighting an elderly man. I mean, it's simple. You know, shout out to Gamboa. He showed true heart. He showed true grit. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, the man was 10 years past his prime. 10 to 15 years past his prime. And Gervonta Davis gets credit for a win like that? Absolutely not. And then you look at, the two green situation. Look at Frank Martin. Now, I'm not going to lie. I had Frank Martin to win against Tank Davis. Obviously, I was wrong, but I was also right at the same time. Regardless of if Frank Martin started at 15 or 16, whatever age he started in the sport of boxing, there's always a chance that you can become a world champion. Look at Errol Spence, for example. He started around 18 or 19. Look at Gabriel Rosado. He started at like 20 and became a world champion. I mean, age don't define it. But then again, on the flip side, you got experience. Experience trumps all. It don't matter if you super athletic. It don't matter if you got freakish natures of power. If you don't have that experience to go through those battle-tested fights, then situations that a more experienced fighter put you in, you ain't gonna know what to do. I mean, look at the Tank Davis and Frank Martin fight, for example. Frank Martin started off with a good jab. He showed he was athletic. Obviously, he was a lot more active than Tank. But guess what Tank was doing? Letting him burn himself out. Frank Martin was jumping around the ring, doing backflips and sprinting around the ring, energy depleting. That took away his leg by itself. I mean, and then with the body shots, just the mental pressure, the mental fortitude that Tank put on Frank Martin, knowing that he was green. I mean, that just solidified everything I'm saying. I mean, Frank Martin is a heck of a fighter. Shout out to Frank Martin. But he knew it was too soon. It was too soon to get in there with Tank Davis. And Tank Davis knew that. But Frank Martin had a name. And his name was attached to Errol Spence. So obviously, everybody gonna demand that fight. Everybody gonna think it's a toss-up for the people who don't know boxing. But for the boxing pugilists like myself, obviously he had a chance. But even I knew that Frank Martin was too green. And that's just what it is. I mean, shout out to Frank, though. But you look at another example, you know, Ryan Garcia, you know, this was another fight that I kind of had 50-50 because at the end of the day, he been boxing as long as Tank, if not longer. Taller, definitely got more pop in his shots. He might not be fundamentally sound as Tank, but he's definitely as explosive, if not more explosive than Tank. So going into that fight, you know, Tank Davis, he must have been listening to me on all those videos I dropped about what Ryan Garcia does best, what a potential threat he is. Because literally, the day after I dropped the video, he sent out the contract to Ryan Garcia and said, listen, man, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't eat this, you gotta sleep at this certain time, you can't drink too much water, you can't work out. I mean, it was crazy, you know. Ryan Garcia walked into that ring like a skeleton, you feel me? Ryan Garcia walked into the ring like a skeleton, man. But who does Tank Davis get this from? Shout out to Floyd Mayweather. He's a shrewd businessman. But the one thing I can say about Errol Spence and Floyd Mayweather, they actually fought guys. They actually fought guys in their prime. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, Tank Davis, he put all these stipulations on you and make it seem like you don't want to fight, but initially you're going to kill yourself trying to make it. So what happened to Ryan Garcia? He got stopped. He got stopped simply because if you're not healthy weight-wise, you won't perform the best. It don't matter who you is, cuz. It don't matter who you is. You seen what happened to Spence. As great as he was, he shouldn't never took that fight. Because especially at 54, especially at 47, because guess what? He was weight drained. Absolutely weight drained. You feel me? But let me know y'all think in the comments, man. Tank Davis, in order for you to solidify your legacy, you're going to have to start fighting guys, man. You're going to start fighting guys that are in their prime, fighting guys that want to fight you, you know, Keyshawn Davises, you know, different guys like that. They up. They waiting on you, bro. So you going to make your legacy about popularity, or you going to actually put some names on that resume, boy? You feel me? But this Trade TV, man, we out.